I love StreamYard.
Boom!
Boom! This is so cool.
Which program are you using?
StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Yeah. This is I met this really nice guy on TikTok. My internet home, away from home.
Okay.
Named Joe Tang, and he invited me to be a guest on his show, and this is the program he used. And it's exact. I was like, oh, great, because I was thinking about, like, man, how do we get people on here live without pre-recording? And I found out about it through him. Thank you, Joe Tang. And here we are. We're on StreamYard. So welcome to our podcast. We've actually got all of the podcasts from season 1 done, but I've got to upload them. This is a far more economical way for us to do a consistent podcast, download it, re-upload it. We're going to talk about what just happened, but first, we're going to play our beginning song. Should we play it in G, or do you want to go crazy and mix it up and do it in another key?
I just learned it in G.
Okay, all right, okay, that's all good. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hello, welcome to the show. Hello, welcome to the. Do it again. Hello, welcome to the show. Hello, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Guy Palumbo. This is my good friend, Freddie Date. We are doing our podcast live now. Usually we were just doing it afterwards, and we were just rapping. We thought this would be cool because then if somebody's watching, I don't know if anybody's watching, but if you are watching, feel free to comment, and we'd be happy to answer questions you might have. Today was a fun day, dude. I was a bit nervous though. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit nervous. We did a lesson today. Well, first and foremost, cheers.
Cheers.
Boop. Cheers to you.
No, it's a hard topic and a very theoretical topic, and it's not easy to wrap it up.
No, it's.
But we have two factors that are.
Well, if anybody's listening to this, they might not have watched the show.
Oh, yeah.
This might be a few. So let's give you some context.
Okay.
Today was the second episode of the second season, and we thought it was important to talk about scale degrees. If you don't know what scale degrees are, that is how what chords you use in a song. So, for example, there are 7. I don't know if you can see what we got going on here. I could zoom in. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, no. Boop, 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 boop. No.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see our whiteboard okay, but when you denote this in what is called the Nashville number system, which was a system that was created so it's easy for like knucklehead guitarists to understand how a song works,
to change the key without using your brain.
Right. So instead of me having to be like, what chord is that? What chord is that? What chord is that? He can always say we're using the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th chord. So if we take just to show you what a normal scale degree runs to. Hey, Mr. Palumbo, he says keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
You kindly.
Pop, glad you're watching and hanging out. So to explain to you what we're going to do, this is the Ionian scale, right?
Or the Ionian.
We're going to use the Ionian scale. We can explain all that stuff later. I'm going to go wide. We'll start it in G. Okay, so we have the 1 is the G. The 2 is the A minor. The 3rd chord in our scale degree is the B minor. Then the 4th is the C. Then the 5th is the D. The 6th is the E minor. And the 7th is a weird one that I have a hard time playing, but I'm going to try anyway. Right?
A little more down.
A little bit.
With the rest of the fingers. Yeah. That's it. That's the F sharp diminished.
Yeah.
And then we're back in G. It's like a little.
And then back in G.
And this is like there's a chord that you're not hearing as much.
It's a tension and release chord, right?
Kind of.
Tension and release chord.
It's even more tensious than Then the 5 chord.
And the fifth's got a lot of tension. Here, I'll show you. Woo!
Wants to go to 1. The 5 wants to resolve. Tension release.
Tension release, right. And then I'll do that again.
Tension.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Tension.
Where should I go to?
Release. There you go.
Right? So if you're writing a song, this is like looking at a flower, right? The colors of all flowers always work together. Okay? Always. They're never wrong. There's no flower in nature that is incorrectly color coordinated. You're not going to be like, oh my God, you should not have put that black in there. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. So when you're using, in this example, the Ionian scale, all of these chords will work together in some capacity. How do you explain that to a child? And that's what we tried to do today. Now, a lot of pop music that you've heard uses 3 chords. Just 3. Just 3 of them.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Right? Folsom Prison Blues, Bad Moon Rising.
CCR, big time.
Like name your CCR song, name your country song, name your blues song. They're using the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th chord. Lots of them. Not all of them, but lots of the music that you know and love use this in different keys, of course.
Yep.
So we had a challenge today, because yesterday we did a stream with a fantastic musician named Justin Trawick and his partner Lauren. They've been doing these live streams together. We had a great lesson planned out. Unfortunately, the technology wasn't working with us and we had to interrupt it. So we had to figure out a way to explain this to kids. So what did we do?
I mean, we always playing around with symbols and pictures and break it down to get an easier access to the kid's mind. So that the way we explain it to you is probably too far away for a kid, like understanding wise. So we had to think about, okay, what are we gonna use instead of one like tonic, subdominant, and dominant.
I mean, we're using Roman numerals. How do we like Freddie did his best? Like we put them in different colors.
We highlighted it,
and they're big,
and they're kind of bigger. Then we were talking about, what about using like brother, sister, baby, mama, papa, see it as a family, literally, and
but we, this is something I'm trying to be mindful about with what we do with this show, because at first Freddie said what about mama and papa, but then we're getting into some very clear issues. First off, not all families have 2 parents. 1. Secondly, not all families are mamas and papas. Sometimes families are mamas and mamas, or sometimes families are papas and papas. So we didn't want to use any imagery that is not inclusive. And I think it's important to be mindful of that, because there are so many different kinds of families out there. And in Germany, it's just something culturally, they are not quite as attuned to this fact, I think, as they are in a lot of other countries in the world, or at least
as sensitive.
No, they're definitely not as sensitive to these issues as we would be, I think, in the United States or Canada or even in Great Britain. And I'm guessing also Sweden and the northern
could be
those northern countries. And then the next question was like, all right, so we have baby, because the baby is the number 1. The number 1 is the most important chord of any scale degree,
because it's the root. And for most of the songs, like, or at least the examples you were telling them, was most of the songs start with the 1 or they end with the 1. Mm-hmm. So it's a pivotal kind of thing that is always. And it's mostly the release chord. It's the home chord. It's the one where you end a cycle harmonically, so to speak. So the 1 is super important as
a baby.
As a baby.
A baby. So we decided to use a baby. Okay. Because if if you've ever been in a family that's got a baby, everything revolves around the baby. And we also decided to use Chord Family as how we're describing this to kids instead of scale degree, because that makes sense. All of these chords share the same musical genetic material.
Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely.
So a baby is if you've got a baby, if you've ever lived with a baby, you know that your world suddenly works around them. How you sleep, how you eat, what you do, where you go, how you get there, it all revolves around the baby.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of experience in this matter. So we got the baby, and then brother and sister. And Freddie was initially going to draw a kid with long hair as the girl and a kid with short hair as the boy. And I was like, which a lot of people would. And I was like, hold on, Holmes. And he was like, why? And I was like, I'll explain after the show, essentially. But I know girls with short hair. I know girls with no hair. I know boys with no hair. I know boys with long hair. My son's a boy with long hair. I'm a boy with long hair. So this is something that he and I want to be mindful of and have respect of as we go forward, because we don't ever want someone to see us and just not feel welcome. Like that's it. Like we would like to be relatable. So I simply drew two kids with different kinds of long hair. One was spiky, and one could be a boy, one could be a girl. And these are just they're little details, but I think they're important. And I think we did a decent job of it.
No, I didn't have it, and it's nice to have you as kind of quality control with that. Yeah, no, because this is a thing, as he said, in Germany, it just, that kind of consciousness just starts. And especially here in Bavaria, I think people are not backwards, I'd say, but very traditional thinking, I'd say, like very conservative. And, this is just all starting, people don't have it in their head yet.
Yeah.
And that thing of inclusion is something that is important, and something where nobody is feeling harmed or feeling,
Not only that, and it's also, I don't think it's as hard as a lot of people make it out to be. I mean, I'm seeing people have absolute fits about what pronouns to use. I'm like, yo, is it that hard? Is it that hard? If you think about what we call certain people, John Oliver from Last Week Tonight, he made a joke. The guitarist from YouTube from U2 is called The Edge. We just call him The Edge. Nobody questioned it. It was like, all right, okay, we'll call you The Edge. So I think I don't think you need to be that creative when you're presenting something to the public to structure your language and your symbols so that it's welcoming. My 2 cents.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And if we want to build up on that, we can use these images and expand the family,
right? And
give the other chords that aren't highlighted some other names. For example, I don't know what just comes to my mind, like spontaneously, would be the aunt, the uncle, whatever. Just
whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
However you want to do it. But I like the idea of
the crusty uncle, the 7th chord that just shows up very seldomly.
Yeah. That's the. Oh wait, no, wait. What is that? It? No.
That one. No, back ring and middle are switched. Talking about shapes,
it's really hard. This is
we're not using the 7th chord as much. So
this one.
Sounds also good. What is it?
What's it diminish?
It's like this.
Doggone it.
There you go.
Oh, that's a hard one. I like that chord though.
But it really needs to resolve, don't you think? Very much tension.
If you're playing that too long, the audience is gonna go crazy. Come on, finish it.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Dankeschön. There you go. So this is another form of, we weren't talking about the Ionian mode.
Yeah.
We were not talking
right.
about tonic, subdominant, dominant. We were not talking about the median and blah blah. You don't say it. It's
because I don't even know what he's talking about. I have no idea what that means.
And this is. I
know. I think there are Ionian columns. I know there are Dorian columns, Corinthian columns, and I think Ionian columns.
Lydian?
No. Columns.
Yeah, Lydian columns.
A Lydian column?
I'm not sure.
I don't think there's a Lydian column. I think it's Ionian. If my dad's still watching, Dad, correct me. It's Ionian, I think Doric, and Corinthian. Corinthian columns are the fancy ones. With
yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not into that kind of stuff.
I had to take Latin.
It's music is my shtick.
I get it.
And it's not about, again, it's about presentation, giving the kids something so they can connect with it, then deconstruct it, and
planting a seed,
talking with symbols and colors to highlight what you want to talk about, and then construct it again and let them interact. After explaining, we were like, okay, we pick Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Your work is now choose an animal and pick a key, and we just doing this 1-4-5 thing in the key you want to hear.
And and this is the my dad said those are the three. Thank you, Mr. Palumbo. Ionian, Doric, and Corinthian. Thank you very much for the validation. I appreciate that.
I gotta believe you,
Dad. You're the only person watching, and I love that you're watching. It makes me really happy right now. So as Freddie said, we did Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but the reason why we did that is to put the kids in the driver's seat. We are very much under the belief that kids don't have a lot of control in their lives, especially now. Their lives are structured. They're told where to go, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And when it comes to learning stuff, we can sit here and talk and wax philosophic about music all day, but they have to put it into practice or experience it in a way to understand it. We can't be in the room to play with them, but what we can do is give them some degree of control. So we did Old MacDonald Had a Farm. We told them to give us, as Freddie said, an animal and a key. And we described it. And what we did is we used this thing called a capo, because the soul of what we wanted them to understand is that the 1, the 4, and the 5 are it's such an iconic
elementary
chord progression that's used so often. And it's also a very useful tool for singers who are trying to find their key. So we did it in G. We did a horse. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had a horse, E-I-E-I-O, with a here. So we did that. And then somebody wanted a frog, I think, in what was it? It was in D. It was in D sharp, right? Which is there, right? Is that D sharp?
Mm-hmm.
D sharp. In D sharp, which Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm they had a frog.
Sounds pretty male.
I had to. And the idea was, 1, give them the degree of control, but 2, have them understand that the song, the chords with relationship to the scale are the same. The key is what is changing.
Yeah.
And the second thing they get to learn is how a tool like this or a system like this can help a singer find the right place to sing. Like, this is a weird place for me to
Yeah,
sing.
you wouldn't have.
Old MacDonald had a farm. I would never. I promise you, there will never be a song we play in the key of D sharp.
Kid would sing with you.
Never would they do. Old MacDonald had a farm. That's right between my head voice and my chest voice. It's such a strange place to sing.
Not your range.
But it doesn't matter. The idea is that by showing them, we did 4 or 5 different animals in 4 or 5 different keys, and they got to hear the difference. They got to hear the difference and the similarity.
And
right?
They got to hear what works and what not, for your voice at least.
Right.
I mean, for the mama, D sharp would be maybe a better key. But, for Guy's voice, not the best choice. But even that is so exciting just to hear that, you have to adjust in a way.
And also, let them know, they're the puppet masters.
Yeah.
There's kids nothing love nothing. I mean, you've seen it with my son. When they think they're in control, they're having such a good time. They really enjoy it. All right, so hold on. My dad comments again. Back to the columns. Doric is the basic. Corinthian is the elaborate. Pop, I thought there were 3 though. There should have been 3. There was a really basic one. Corinthian was the fancy one, and then there was one in the middle. What was the one in the middle? I'd love to know. Now I just want to know, and I don't feel and I'd rather you comment it so I could talk about it live than Google it. So could you write and educate us?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work, Pop. Hey, hold on, Dad. Do you want to be a guest on the show? We can do that right now.
As you please.
Hold on, Dad. Listen, since you're such a dedicated person, I'm sending you an email. I don't know if you have time right now. If you're still watching, I'm sending you an email. We'd love to have my dad back as a guest. I'm sending it to you right now, Pop. Feel free to, if you can't, you can just comment and say you don't have time right now. That's cool too. I'm sure there will be a chance in the future, but you are very welcome. I don't know what I said. Come on. Send the email. Hold on. I'm sending you that link again. I don't know if this is working. What was your favorite part of the episode, Freddie?
I love, my favorite part was actually just that what you said, when we lost control, or when we gave away the control.
I love that. Yeah. I love when the audience is in. My favorite part was no guest. Oh, that Ionic was the middle one, he said, and no guess. I'm guessing that
That's
means
crystal clear.
I'm guessing that means he was working in the garden. He's been prolific in the garden lately. He's probably got dirt and stuff on his face. Okay, Pop, I understand. We will be happy to have you on as a guest another time. One of my favorite parts was Anna, our girl Anna from Canada. She one of the things we did is we did a medley. We got to introduce the term medley, which was just a fun word to say, and it's a fun term to introduce to kids. So that was one cool thing. But the second cool thing about that was we were asking the kids, can you tell are the songs the same? Are they different? And how? And Anna said, no, they're different. You used a bridge to get to them. And that was so cool because she's right? Because the medley we did was I've been working on the railroad. I've been working on the railroad, don't live no day. I've been working on the railroad just past the time of day. And then we went into the ABCs, and I had to do a bridge.
Johnny Cash, Walk the Line. You know the version?
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing. He's switching keys within the song, but he's still using the same scale degrees, and he's switching it like 5 times within the song.
There's a great song.
So good.
There's a great song. It's either 6 feet high and rising or 5 feet high and rising.
Okay.
I forget which one. I think it's 6 feet high and rising. Somebody I'm sure will be happy to correct me. Where he's talking about flooding, How high's the water, mama? How high's the water, mama? 1 foot high and rising. I'm totally singing this wrong. And then 2 feet high and rising. And he goes all the way up to 6 feet high and rising. It's pretty cool. Johnny was great at that.
Yep.
Johnny was great at that.
But it's the same method.
Yep.
It's the same method. He's staying true to the distances of the chords within the scale, and he's just shifting the scale, but the degrees within the scale stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all there is. And there's much more to it, but it's always easy to break it down for our audience. So
oh my,
it's still fun, you know? Oh my.
Oh my. We got to wrap it up.
Oh my.
I found us a big whiteboard that we're going to use to plan out our episodes and strategies for things. And I promised that I'd be there to pick it up in a little while. So we got to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, Dad, and for the other folks who stopped in, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to play our goodbye song, and that's that. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. I'll see you next time. See you tomorrow. Peace, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.